Welcome back, degenerates. I'm a Tudor fan, particularly with their unpopular watches from the early 2000s to pre-COVID. From the Hydronaut to the P01, Tudor's ability to make watches that were solid, robust, and genuinely interesting while still being humble underdogs gives them an incredibly endearing quality. I consider them kind of like trade secrets, or hidden gems overshadowed by the community's addiction to overhyped, overly simple Bauhaus-like minimalism. Which brings us to the Tudor 79350 Black Bay Chronograph, another Tudor which I consider a hidden gem. Discontinued to obscurity, I'm convinced that the community doesn't care about actually getting something cool, because this watch made its debut in 2017 and was quickly and quietly forgotten as the crowds focused on plastic moon swatches and millimeter differences with the new Explorer. This watch is what I consider a Wilsdorf Foundation masterpiece. From top to bottom, this thing is quality. The movement, the specs, the fit and finish, the action, all top notch. It embodies everything that I perceive Tudor to be. In the fantasy land of watches, if Rolex is the watch of the white-collar executive, then it could be argued that Tudor is for the blue-collar technical professional. And to that end, this chronograph hits the mark dead on. Look, I know it's all just overpriced Swiss luxury bullshit. I get it. Don't think too deeply about it. It's all just for fun. But if watches are something you enjoy, and part of that enjoyment comes from an affinity towards utilitarian style and functionality, then I think you'll see what I like so much about the 79350. Do I even need to spell it out here? That steel-on-steel execution is perfection. It's attractively undecorated in a way that is quintessentially Tudor. But there's still enough complexity to make up for the lack of bling. The case and bracelet have a lot of layers, which creates the aura of a complex machine tightly assembled like a German race car. The bracelet is nothing new, but just how I thought it was great before, I still think it's great now. The riveted style offers so much more than a generic three-piece oyster. That's not to say that it's better, but it is a refreshing departure nonetheless. From top to bottom, I find the whole presentation to be an amalgamation of modern cool and vintage warmth. I compared this thing to a race car, and it very much has the spirit of a speed racer embedded in its purpose. The tachymeter bezel is self-explanatory and could easily be brushed aside as just a simple design choice, but the 45-minute chrono subdial is a direct nod to racing. And while I accept that many of us enjoy watches as a form of cosplay, this watch would actually be quite useful for any motorsport team member, which kind of makes the role-playing slightly less pathetic. I find the monochrome theme pairs well with military purposes too. For me, there's nothing better than military shit and solid-ass watches. It's not gaudy, looks professional, and the functions provided are all useful for military stuff. But let's be real, it just looks good in uniform and that's all I care about. The basic bitch in me loves being out on the water, watching the light reflect off the case and all of that stuff. All that stuff you guys make fun of, I live for. Why wasn't this watch more popular? Maybe for the same reasons that the P01 wasn't. Too big? Too niche and expensive? I don't know. I can see why the P01 never made it big, but for the life of me, I don't understand why this one didn't. And I guess I don't really need the answer. I should just be content that I'm one of the lucky few that truly appreciates this beauty. I've been in this game long enough to see the same thing over and over and over again, with social media pushing the same overplayed stuff year after year. So at least for myself, I know the 79350 is something very special. I don't have any delusions to think this thing will increase in value as time goes on, but I know that this is a watch that many people will regret not pursuing when it was readily available. God, I'm starting to sound so old. They just don't make them like they used to, sonny boy. Well, leave me alone. Respect your elders. But that's all I got for now. Stay classy. I sure as hell won't.